Welcome, everyone. I'm Kimberly Boschman, and this is the Intentionally Intuitive podcast. In this episode, we're going to take a look at the numerology and the energy for both the collective and each individual life path number for August 2022. So before we get into the forecast, I just want to, of course, mention that this is a general reading. So if you would like to sort of dive more deeply into your own personal energies, because they may be very different from sort of what we're looking at collectively or what you're even looking at from a collective life path energy, then please book some time with me. I do offer month ahead forecast, personal month ahead forecast, as well as year ahead forecasts, which again are tuned into your personal numerology and your personal energies. And then, of course, I also offer coaching with numerology, your numerology reports. There's a whole plethora of offerings on my website. So if you're interested in working with me and again, diving deeper into your own numerology and personal energies, then book some time with me. I would love to work with you. Okay, so August 2022, we are working with a 14-5 energy. Now, those of us who have a lot of sort of predominant 5 energies throughout our reports, throughout our charts, this is sort of going to be more, it's just going to be more of what we're sort of used to. We're very familiar with this energy, so we can kind of adapt to it and move with the punches. But it's still going to be important to understand that we're getting a heavy dose of this month. And so just to be prepared and so to be able to work with it to the best of our abilities. Those of you who don't have a lot of 5s within your chart, this can be, sometimes 5 energy can be it can feel a little disruptive. It can feel very transformative. It can feel as if sort of the rug gets pulled out from underneath you. But it can also sort of bring more spice into your life. It can bring about this desire for freedom, to break free, to move beyond the restrictions, to travel, to explore. It's a very big, fast-moving energy. So it can be a lot to sort of wrap your head around and your energy around if you're not used to working with it. So, but it is very much working for us as opposed to against us. A lot of times with 5 energy, it tries to move us abruptly sometimes to where it is that we need to be on our journey. So if we've got distracted or we're procrastinating, the 5 energy is so good about sort of coming in like this big gust of wind to lift us up and put the wind in our sails to get us moving again. So it is very, very positive energy, but it can be a lot to work with. So let's look at the forecast. So this can be a cycle when we are forced to sort of see things from a new perspective, because we're not only working with the 5 energy, we're working with the influencing energy of the 14. So this is also, I've sort of marinated that into this forecast as well. So we can be kind of asked to see things from a new perspective through new clarity coming in or new experiences that help us to better understand a situation. So these new experiences may have us reviewing past behavior to see if there's things that we want to approach differently. This is very powerful energy. So this cycle can highlight areas where we may need to choose to modify our lifestyle in some way to get different results than what we have been seeing. There's a lot of sort of personal responsibility that's sort of, again, included in this energy, right? So this is big, explosive, and expansive energy, and desires that we didn't even know that we had can surface now. The more that we can sort of ground ourselves and keep checking in with the reality of the situation, that's really, really important to remember, like to keep checking in with the reality, because 5 energy can have you thinking about, dreaming really big and using that big imagination and going after those big goals, which is great. But we can often lose sight of the reality of the situation and what we're actually working with. And so it's important to keep coming back to that. I kind of sometimes think of 5 energy as being very similar to like Uranus energy in astrology. It's got a lot of the same kind of dynamic influences. So anyway, so again, the more that we can ground ourselves and keep checking in with the reality of the situation, the less likely we are to sort of get swept up into something that's not truly aligned with us and our goals. So pay attention to, again, like what comes in for you this month. Not to say that new relationships that come in this month or that sort of get springboarded this month won't last. It's very possible that they could, and it could be that this energy is coming in to sort of facilitate that. But it's also possible that we're putting on 6 layers of rose-colored glasses and sort of getting enamored with maybe somebody or something that's not necessarily the best long-term fit. So just kind of keep that in mind. And that's what I say, keep coming back to the reality of the situation, right? Try to find a way to marry both those that more idealistic viewpoint and the reality, and then you'll have like a healthy balance. So this can be incredibly creative energy. So this can be a very creative period where sort of we move the magic of the imagination into something more tangible within the physical reality. So this is very supportive energy for unconventional thinking and creating as far outside of the box as your imagination wants to take you. So play in the realm of creativity as much as possible, while also keeping yourself grounded as much as possible. So again, you're finding the balance between the two and having them work together with synastry, right? Like this can be such an incredibly powerful, creative period if we work with the energy in a very balanced way. So moderation, as I always say with 5 energy, is going to be key for the best results, right? For the most beneficial results of this energy. This can also be a profitable time for commercial, sort of seeing more money and business dealings. So anything that you have to do, like any kind of interaction or any kind of, just any kind of interaction that you have or transaction that you have that's commercial, around money, around business dealings, can be very profitable at this time. Just make sure that you're slowing down and paying attention to all of the details and the possible outcomes or scenarios before fully committing or signing your name to anything. And so I want to repeat that because I think it's really, really important, especially when we're working with 5 energy, because we don't have like any kind of 4 energy here, although we might have some through the illuminations of the full moon or the new moon. I can't remember. But 4 energy is like the details. 5 energy is just, let's go. It's so big and expansive that a lot of times it can lose sight of those details, right? The finer print. So again, slow down, pay attention to all of the details and the possible outcomes or scenarios before fully committing or signing your name to anything. So again, it's not like you want to be the Debbie Downer or, be pessimistic or whatever. It's again, bringing that realism into the situation to be like, okay, this is the risk. This is what could potentially come from that risk. This is the potential outcomes. And this is the scenarios that I could be facing if I take this risk. Is it worth that to me? Right. So there just needs to be kind of this, in the midst of all of this big energy, these periods of checking in and making sure that, the route that you're taking or the risks that you're taking are what you want to be taking, or that you're open to, that you're okay. You've explored the possible outcomes and you're okay with those. You might not want to have to deal with those possible outcomes, but you've evaluated them and you can work with them, right? 14-5 energy can bring big hopes and huge aspirations that make it really easy to sort of disregard or overlook possible catastrophic outcomes. And so that's what I mean. It's like, yes, take a risk, but be sure you're well aware of what the potential risks are before saying yes. And of course, it's life, so we don't always know everything that could possibly happen. I think that's implied, right? But it's about doing your best to try to do the research, just to make sure that you have an understanding of what could potentially go wrong, and are you able to work with that, right? If that were to happen, if the worst case scenario were to occur, can you handle that? Can you work with that? If the risk is too great, then you may want to modify it. So modify the situation, modify the opportunity, modify whatever you need to modify, so that if things do go sideways, then you can somewhat easily dust yourself off and start over without too much devastation, right? You don't want to do anything that if things go sideways, it's going to set you back so far that you're now digging yourself out of a hole to try to recover. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like, just keep your head about you and just be mindful, right? Just do the research. Just make sure that you're fully educated and fully aware of the potentiality of what could come from these big risks. But don't let that scare you. Like if you do the research and you say, okay, you know what, this is the risk. Yeah, it would suck, but I am fully capable of overcoming it, whatever. It might be a little bit of a setback, but it's not going to devastate me or my family. Go for it, right? Because it's not meant to put fear in you to not do the things that your soul wants to do. It's just to be well educated to make sure that you're not setting yourself up for potential failure, right? Because it also, things with big risks, right? Things with the potential for a big risk, right? Also have the potential for not only like big devastation, but big wins, right? And so you just have to look at it for your own situation and see, what are you willing to say yes to? What are you willing to work with if it goes sideways? So competitive situations can also surface under this energy. So if that happens, try to keep those interactions light and playful. That's going to be really, really important, because otherwise you're inviting in conflict and chaos that can arise very quickly and unnecessarily. So choose how you participate, as always, with this energy. And as always, moderation is going to be key. The more that you can bring in moderation, continue to find your balance, continue to remain centered, then you are going to benefit from this energy in spades. I mean, there's just so much potential here to really flourish under this energy, but just remain as grounded as possible as you play in this 5 energy. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at each individual life path number now. Life path 22-4. So I pulled an animal message for you all, and your animal for August is Firefly. And I love this for you all. This is so beautiful. So the message from Firefly is to shine your inner light. And it also talks about like moments of glory, right? So the Firefly has a very short existence, right? But it brings so much light during that period of time that I don't know if you've ever experienced fireflies. I talked about this in, I think it was the reading for June, the most recent reading. But if you've ever experienced fireflies, or we used to call them lightning bugs in New York, but if you've ever experienced them, they just bring so much magic to the environment. It's like, I remember as a kid just looking forward to the fireflies coming. I think it was like usually in June, because at night, like they would just light everything up. It was magic. It was just complete magic. And so there is sort of this sort of ethereal, very like, I don't know, just magical element to the firefly and the firefly coming through for you all that really just speaks to bringing that magic into your life, like allowing it to come through. It's already there, but really like finding a way to express it, because each of you have your own unique magic to express. You each have that little light within you, or that big light within you that wants to be expressed, especially as 22s. You are meant to be building something that is going to bring light to the lives of many. No pressure, but just by being who you are and just by doing the work that you do. And so I do think there's also something to be said about, Firefly, it doesn't question its light. It's just a part of who it is. And so it just lights up, right? It doesn't think to itself, oh, I wonder if my light is bright enough. I wonder if I'm putting on a good show. I wonder if I'm doing this right. It just does it. It just lights up. And so I do think that there's something here about, especially for 22-4s who can carry a lot of self-doubt, because there's such big energy behind this journey for you all. I think there's something here about recognizing the light within you and not questioning it, or questioning whether or not you're doing it right, or if you're sharing it appropriately, or whatever. Life is going to give you the opportunities to share your light. where it comes down to, what you need to do or whatever is in those choices, right? If the opportunity presents itself, does it resonate or does it not? If it does, go for it. Shine your light. If the opportunity is coming in because you are ready to embark on it, right? To take that new journey if you choose to, right? And if it feels right. Sometimes opportunities come in just sort of to see like, okay, does this resonate or does it not? And sometimes it's just like the universe being like, do you like this flavor or do you not like this flavor, right? Like if you're choosing ice cream or whatever, and then you go with the flavor that you like, not the flavor necessarily that you're most comfortable with, but the one that you enjoy, that like speaks to you. And so I do think that this month is going to highlight for you, or potentially highlight for you, where it is that your own unique light is trying to shine, is trying to come out. And again, that can be through opportunities, that can be through conversations that you have, inspirations that come in for you, you name it. But there is something here about not being afraid or questioning or wondering if you're doing it right when it comes to your own unique light and shining that light. And there's also, again, with Firefly, this energy around like opportunities for moments of glory, like getting that recognition, getting that acknowledgement. And, we can say like, we shouldn't, the reason why we do something should not be for validation, but there is nothing wrong with getting and appreciating validation when it comes in, right? Like sometimes, especially for many people, like that is sort of the green light that, okay, like I'm like the work that I'm doing is being received in a way that I'm intending for it to be received. Do you see what I'm saying? So potentially a lot coming in around that for you all this month. But my biggest thing would be, when you recognize the light that is yours and that you came to share, don't question it. Don't compare it to other people's light and wonder why yours isn't as bright or why yours is brighter or whatever. Just shine the light. Just shine that light. Okay, so for you all, you have this energy not only of the 5 that you're working with, that we're working with collectively, but you also have the undercurrent energy of the 9. And so I would say for you all, this is going to be a beautiful energy for like fertility or birth, right? So that can be actually like a physical birth, like you're actually having a baby this month, or you find out you're pregnant, or you all are planning to have a baby, or whatever the case may be. Or it's going to be something around like a creative birth. So again, like a big idea comes in and now you're going to allow that idea to gestate. You're allowing that idea to grow. You're working towards that idea. You're creating something. And so it could be that you've been doing that for a while and now this is the month that is being birthed. And then you will help it to grow into adulthood, right? Or for some of you, you're getting the big idea this month. You're getting the big inspiration. And so you're going to start creating that or figuring out or planning how to do that. So this is a very powerful energy for, again, creation. You may also find, some of you, that this is a big time for like marriage or proposals or taking a relationship to the next level. So for some, this is going to be a change in status. So it can be like you go from being married to being divorced, or being single to being in a relationship, or you change your name, or you go from being entry-level worker to a higher up or whatever, right? So it's some kind of change in status potentially for some of you. This can, like I said, this can also be a big month for new starts or big ideas coming in around business or career. So again, you may meet a business partner now, you may get a promotion, you may get recognized, you might get some kind of accolade that comes in for you for, just the work that you do, for the light that you bring. So pay attention to that and pay attention to who comes in for you around that. Because I do think that whoever comes in for you, or sort of like whatever you're being recognized for, not always, but could have like a lasting effect, especially now. There's like this big transit that's happening the very beginning of August in astrology. And I'm not an astrologer, so I'm not going to really go into this, but I believe it's Uranus, North Node, and Taurus, and Mars that can have like a big shift that affects us or our trajectory for the next 15 years. So it's very, very significant. And if you're not familiar with it, I would say look into that to see how it lands for you based on your astrology chart, because that could also play into this energy, this 9 energy that you're working with. Because I do think whoever comes in for you or whatever comes in for you, or those ideas that come in for you now, could have a lasting effect for the years to come, potentially. This is going to be a time for you all to really shine that light, to bring the ideas out from the realm of concepts and make them a reality. And again, we're working with that with the 14-5 energy for the collective, but you all are really working with that energy with this 9 energy. So again, how can you bring those big ideas, those concepts from the more ethereal realm into the physical and make them a reality? This is a great month for big launches or big presentations or putting yourself out there into the spotlight or the public eye or something like that. This can be a really big boost for your career, for, again, shining that unique light that only you carry. And this month can sort of highlight for you the best ways to do that. But remember, it's not always going to be the most comfortable way. So if you're looking to stay inside your comfort zone, that's okay, come out when you're ready, but that's not going to allow you to shine your light like you're meant to shine it, especially as a 22. And so I do feel like anything that comes in for you all this month is really highlighting for you the best ways in this moment to shine that light, to share that beauty, to share your gift. So I would say whatever comes in for you, pay attention. And even if it makes you feel uncomfortable, there's a difference between like feeling passionate about something and uncomfortable about it because it's outside your comfort zone, and in feeling like it's not for you, right? There's a difference in that energy. So pay attention to what comes in for you, see what it feels like for you. And even if it's outside that comfort zone, I would say go for it. Try it, explore it. This is a beautiful month for it, I'm telling you. So yeah, shine that light. Don't compare yourself to others, and just continue to nurture that light. And when the opportunity comes in, just know it's coming in because you are ready. All right, 22s, I think this is going to be an incredible month for you all, or at least it has the potential. Like I always say, it's, the energy is present. It's what we do with it that makes the difference. So be really aware of what you do with the energy this month, because it has the potential to carry something for many years to come. All right, 22s, take care, everyone. Bye for now.